Throughout 2025, I have converted this bus into my dream home on wheels. My name is Emily, this is Luna, Misty, and our bus Magnolia. Let me give you a full tour. Starting with the bus itself, this is a 2009 long wheelbase Toyota Coaster with an NO4C engine. She is 7 meters long, so going from a 6 meter medium wheelbase van up to this bus has been a bit of an adjustment, but having the extra living space has made it so worth the upgrade. Coming around to our outdoor living space, this is so much room for me and the pets to be able to chill out on a hot day with our awning out, as well as watch beautiful sunsets, and just it's so good to be able to extend the living space from the bus out into nature. I have the Thule 5200 awning from Caravan RV Camping. This is 4.5 meters long by 2.5 meters wide, so that gives us heaps of shade on those hot sunny days. It also, as a benefit, helps keep the bus cool. Obviously there are so many windows, so having a bit of shade so that the sun is not just beating down onto those windows makes a huge difference inside. And I use this awning pretty much every single day. It is one of those things that I wasn't expecting to use all of the time, and it is so easy to set up, especially as a solo female. So yeah, big tick from me. At the back here, you can see this huge opening door. Going from living in a van for 3 years into a bus, I really wanted to still be able to have that open door feel. So finding a bus that used to have a wheelchair lift right here has given me that open door. That means that I can pull up, I can enjoy stunning views, and also lets extra air flow through the bus, which is fantastic. Underneath the bed, I have a bunch of different things. It's a little chaotic. Over here, I have my diesel heater tank. That is only an 8-liter tank that runs my diesel heater, and I haven't had to fill it up just yet. I've got a freshwater hose for filling up my drinking water, a bunch of other random supplies. I've got some leveling ramps. These have honestly been a game changer. I only recently got them, and honestly, I think having such a long vehicle now, it's made a huge difference in being able to have it flat. I have got a electric hot water heater here, my water pump, diesel heater, and then my full electrical system lives over the back there. So that takes up that complete other side of the bus. And then at the back of the bus here, I have another area that I can get into my storage, as well as my water inlet. So this is for my water tanks, and then this is for mains water if I ever needed to connect that. Speaking of water tanks, I have got 2 freshwater tanks, which are 60 liters each. They both live here and here. And then on the side underneath my sink, I have got a 50-liter grey water tank. And on this side of the bus, I have got my 240-volt inlet, so I can charge off of mains power if I need to. I've only had to do that once so far because we've had a super wet and overcast few weeks once I first got to Tassie. But yeah, plugging in and charging off of that, the battery went from like 40% up to 100% in 2 hours, which was incredible. And on the roof of the bus, I have got 4 200-watt solar panels, giving me 800 watts total. So this gives me so much power coming in. Right now, with the sun above the bus, it has been pumping in the amps. I was getting 36 amps of charge coming in earlier, which was honestly incredible. It charges up my batteries and keeps me off grid and on the road. I have also got a Dometic FreshJet 7 Series Plus on the roof here, which keeps the bus nice and cool, which I can also run off grid. And right at the back of the bus, I have got a Max Air fan over my bed, so that can also help either recirculate air through the bus or obviously blow air in to keep it nice and cool. Last but not least, I also made some window screens for both sides of my opening windows, obviously to be able to keep Misty inside the bus and keep the bugs out. Let's head on inside and I'll show you the fun parts. One last thing before I take you inside the bus, a question that I do get from other cat owners who want to travel with their pets is, do I let her roam free, and how do I stop her from running away? She doesn't get to go and roam free. She's got this harness and a retractable leash, which I keep attached to the bus at all times. I would hate for something to happen to her to get lost, bitten by a snake, attacked by a dog, run over by a car. You get the picture. She's my baby. I've had her for a long time. So yeah, she stays connected all of the times. So with her leash, I have got this little carabiner and a retractable lead. So this can hook on to multiple different areas of the bus depending on where I want her to be. Or if she's inside of the bus, I'll just hook her to my curtain wires or something like that. Filming the inside of the bus by myself could be a little tricky, so I will do my best. Please bear with me trying to show you everything that is in here with the right angles. Let's see how we go. As you come through the entrance here, I have got this dog gate. So this can just come across and clip on, essentially so that Luna obviously can't get out of the bus. Misty can squeeze between these little holes, but she's usually fine. So that just comes open and then also clips on over this side so it's not going anywhere when we're driving. Over here I have got my cooker switch, so this can turn on and off my cooker if I need to isolate that from power, and I have got my Max air fan remote control. As you come back here, I have got a table with 2 chairs. This also pushes down into a couch, which I will show you in just a second. And underneath here is Misty's litter box. So she obviously can come in and out as she wishes, and this lifts up so that I can then access that, and I also store her kitty litter under here on a little shelf. At the front of my bus, I have built an insulated pocket door that goes through to the cab. This makes such a big difference because the cab gets so unbearably hot, and if that heat was transferring from there into the living space, it would probably roast the bus, to be honest. Over here, I have got my Dometic 188 litre freezer and fridge. So this gives me so much space to be able to store food, to live off grid for weeks. I also have this little photo wall here, which has got some photos from my travels, as well as obviously my 2 babies. I love that. I've got a few plants scattered around the bus. So I've got this one up here. I've got one over there that I'll show you, one down on the floor in the doorway, and a couple of little ones at the back here. Over on this side, I have got a storage, which includes a full-length mirror. Up the top here, I've got all my hair stuff, as well as all of my medicine. I've got all of my towels. On the 3rd shelf, I've got a massive storage of electrical stuff. I've got a big washing basket. And at the bottom here is all of Luna's stuff. So dog biscuits, as well as toys and everything like that. And over here, I have got one of 3 Sirocco fans in the bus. So I've got one up here and 2 at the bed that I'll show you. These help also circulate the air. Obviously, having pets in a vehicle, my #1 focus when building this bus and my last van was that my pets would be safe and comfortable in here, no matter if I'm here or if I need to leave them to run errands. So that's why I put a lot of thought into things like the fans, the ventilation, the insulation, all of that sort of stuff. To change this from seating table mode into couch mode, all I need to do is move these cushions. There is a little foot button down the bottom, and then usually put all of my body weight onto the table to get it to go down into place. There we go. And then I can put the cushions back. So I have got those 2 and then 2 extras that will slide in. Like this. So this obviously can be a nice place to chill out and relax, or if I do have a visitor, I've got a friend coming to stay next week, then there is obviously the option of a second bed. I fit perfectly along here, so I could sleep here comfortably if there is someone that is too tall to sleep there, or if there is someone that is quite small like me as well, obviously they could easily fit on this. This wall over here is what controls pretty much everything in my bus. So I have got my switches for both sets of lights, as well as my water pump and my hot water heater. Up here is my Renogy One Core, which is my battery monitor system. So I can see how much solar is coming in, what's charging off of my alternator, how much is getting drawn out, and how much battery I've got left. As I mentioned before, I've got 800 watts of solar on my roof, which is split into two 400 watt charging systems. So one goes off of the Solo MPPT charger, so 400 watts comes through that, and the other 400 watts comes through a dual MPPT and DC-DC charger, which charges off of my alternator while I'm driving. I can also see if there are any faults, I can see how much battery I've got left, everything like that through this. So this is honestly a must-have if you are building. I did have the basic BMS system in my van from Renogy, and it never showed correctly. I think it wasn't set up right, but setting up the One Core was so much easier. It's so much more user-friendly, and yeah, it is worth paying a little bit of extra money to be able to get one of these. This over here is my inverter switch, so that you just turn on, you'll hear it beep in a second, and that is when everything is ready to go. I have got a 3000 watt inverter charger, so that allows me to cook on induction, run my aircon off grid, use an air fryer, my hot water system, everything like that with no problems. I also have some more artwork over here, so a night photo that I took and I really love, and then just a cute little ghost and a cat. I've also obviously got my plant here, so I am a big plant lover, so as I mentioned before, they're kind of scattered throughout the bus. As you come over to this side of the bus, you will find my kitchen. This is my Dometic dual zone induction cooktop, so I can obviously use both zones when cooking, which has been great. I have a huge bench space, which has been fantastic. This gives me lots of room to be able to cook and prepare, as well as obviously just chuck things on the bench. Obviously, you're very limited with space when you live in a vehicle, so it is really great to have lots of bench space in here. And then down the end here, I have got a really large sink. Don't mind my dirty dishes, I have not done them post breakfast, but this has been great. I would say, and I did know before getting a white sink that they do stain easy. I wasn't expecting it to be as bad as what it is, because it has black stains all over it before I even left. So yeah, they won't come off. That is just one thing that if you want to have a white sink, you need to know. I have got running water, also hot water if my hot water heater has been turned on and heated up. This tap can also pull out, which makes it obviously easy to wash out. Back here I've got a power point, which I plug in my air fryer, blender, all of that sort of stuff. And also I have my Starlink connected over here too. I have another plant, a cute little lamp, and another little ghosty friend. And then when it comes to my kitchen drawers, I'll give you a quick rundown of where everything lives. Up here is all of the pet stuff, mainly food and tick and flea treatment, treats, all of that sort of stuff. In here is all of my pots, pans, plates, cups, chopping boards, basically all of my cooking stuff. This drawer falls off of its hinges, so I'm not going to open it, but this is pretty much my junk drawer. It has got Tupperware in it, as well as like a few building stuff, just random shit, honestly. Over here is my cutlery, knives, forks, all of like utensils, everything like that. I have got another kind of junk drawer. It's got things like aluminium foil, baking paper, supplements, candles, that sort of stuff. This is for my air fryer, my blender, and my sandwich press. Up here is all of my tea and coffee supplies, mainly coffee. I don't drink much tea. These two drawers, this one and this one, are my pantry. And then down the bottom is all of my toiletries. This cupboard is my sink trap, as well as pretty much all of my cleaning supplies. And then the final drawer back here is my bin. This is my custom sized shower. I got a 600 by 600 stainless steel shower tray and built off of that. These walls are just wet wall panels from Bunnings, and then obviously my tapware. using my hot water heater, I can have a full hot shower in here, wash my hair, everything like that, and it obviously drains out into my grey water tank. Down the bottom here, I have got a pull-out toilet, which is the Cuddy composting toilet. It has been an adjustment using a composting toilet over a chemical toilet that I had in my van, but it has been great. It has allowed me to stay off-grid for longer and is a lot easier to empty, but you do just need to empty it more frequently than what I did with my chemical toilet. The shower has a screen that obviously keeps it fully waterproof, so there's no issues with it leaking out into the hallway. This is my full wardrobe, and honestly it is too full, but I have got plenty of hanging space up the top for all of my dresses and some jackets. I've got pants, shirts, underwear, jumpers, and then down the bottom I've also got sleepwear and activewear. Down here I have got a step to get onto the bed, which also doubles as all of my shoe storage. And over here is the outlet for my diesel heater. Welcome to my bedroom. This is a queen size bed. It is super comfy. I got an Emma mattress that came in a box. I did end up removing 3 runs of springs just so that it fit perfectly to the width of the bus, but obviously I fit perfectly in here. There's enough room to sleep 2, not that that's ever happened for me. I get to sleep 3, obviously, me, Luna and Misty. So usually Luna has the spot next to my pillow and Misty is asleep on top of me somewhere. Up the top here, I have got my Max Air fan. So that, as I mentioned before, works off of a remote, or it also has some keypads up here. Honestly, I have had problems in my van. I had 2 of these in my van and they ended up just causing major faults. It's super common for that to happen, so if you get one, beware that they might end up being faulty. Apparently the ones that aren't remote controlled can work fine, so I'm waiting for this one to play up, but it did take about a year in my van, so fingers crossed it doesn't happen in the bus. Up here I have got all of my winter stuff as well as my sheets. So I've got an electric blanket, I've got sheets in here, this is all my winter clothes, some beanies, that sort of stuff. I've got my other 2 Sirocco fans, so these can spin around, tilt to face me if I'm sleeping and it's hot. I have got a reading light over here which does warm light or red light, and you can also have charge off that if you need to. There is another one up the top over here. Over on this side I have got a little shelf which houses books, a journal, my aircon remote, another light, a little photo and a little mirror. There is also a USB charger hidden away behind there too. And on this divider over here I've also got a USB charger as well as my diesel heater control. And lastly, this is the cab. I built Luna a custom made platform so that she can comfortably sit there, as well as a seat belt specifically for her. Over here I have got a reversing camera which is on at all times, as well as replacing my head unit. So I have Bluetooth and all of that sort of stuff. I also replaced the speakers, which I've got one down there and one up here behind my head. She's a manual and has about 150,000 kilometers on the clock, so still pretty young for her age. Behind the driver's seat, I also keep an extendable ladder if I need to access the roof, as well as just a bag and some storage bits underneath. I have got my foam roller here, and behind this seat is just shopping bags and window covers. Well, that's it for my bus tour. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I have built all by myself over the last 13 months. It was honestly one of those projects that I went into with a lot of delusion of how easy I thought it was going to be. After building a van and the van build not being too hard, I thought doing it again with the bus would be pretty easy. Turns out it was very difficult. But if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will make sure to answer those and reply to you. And we are on the road full time now. This is going to be home for the foreseeable future. We'll be based in Tassie for quite a few months, heading back to the mainland for winter. So yeah, there's a lot of adventures to come and a lot of travels to be captured. I will be vlogging the adventure along the way, so please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Your help and support means the world to me, being able to be on the road full time and make this dream a reality. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.